Hello and welcome once again, fellow girls, guys and gaming fans. This is Small Archangel. Thank you for joining me for today's episode of Rising World Survival, and we are just about to, well, more or less complete the bunker. I keep saying that, more or less, but the thing is with a bunker build, you could just keep on adding stuff till Kingdom Come, really, couldn't you? You could just keep on adding things the whole time. Generally speaking, off camera, that's precisely what I do. You can see since last time, I have, in point of fact, added a medical supplies cabinet, because I thought that was probably a good idea. I've used the usual trick. I've put a small crate behind there, which is going to be quite large enough to hold things like this, bandages, and any other medical supplies, splints, any other medical supplies that the game throws at us at any given opportunity. It might also be, given it's quite close to the door, be a good place to keep sort of bug out kit like torches and tents and the like. So that was something else that I decided to add since the last episode, and also I have finished the officers' quarters here, so you can see we've got a very similar setup to the one that we've got across the way there, which yeah, I decided I kind of prefer the one that's across the way there, so that's where I've got my bed marker, just because I like the painting, the Escher painting of the cat above the desk. Other than that, there's not very much difference here. It's got very much exactly the same layout, and the bathroom pretty much the same as well, but not absolutely identical. Looks like we've got a torch lingering somewhere in the mix here, probably behind the wall. So we've got a bit of yellowish light there, which shouldn't be there, but hey ho, we've got the odd one here and there, I think, still in the cave. But anyway, so basically the last thing that we're really going to do today is the next week's episode, ahead of our update, which with the player models. I don't know how far off that is, but ahead of that, what I do want to do is add to my list of blueprints. You can see my blueprints here currently contain a couple of wood cabin models, one farmhouse and a brick house, and they date back a long old way, and those blueprints will transfer from save to save. So as I said before, we're going to change to a different save. We're going to go to a new save game, a new save world, when the player models update comes out. It is going to be safe enough for people to save their current games and carry those across, but I've decided I want to start over. But I am going to carry my blueprints across with me, so in next week's episode, that is what we're going to be doing. We're going to be taking some blueprints of stuff, so if anybody that isn't so familiar with the blueprint setup, etc., that is, yeah, that's the plan. And then we're going to have a nice fat wad of blueprints in my journal that I can then reuse anywhere else. And of course, I think if you go into creative menu, you can just kind of plonk them straight down, because there's no material requirement, which means it's very much easier to populate a world if you really want to. But we're going to play survival as per usual. Right, so today then, directly opposite our room, straight ahead there, we are going to build what I've said before, which is a kind of an overseer's office. A couple of subs have suggested that was what was needed here. Now, we're not going to have ever so much space here, of course, because what we've got downstairs, we have got, if you remember the layout, we've got a little room here, which is our little antechamber. There we go. And then we've got our stairwell here. So we're going to be coming up against the stairwell if we go too far back. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to place a doorway in the middle, and then we're going to have a room off to either side, which are both going to be relatively shallow, like, yeah, this kind of depth, I guess. We could possibly go back a couple of blocks further than that, but not much. And on one side, we're going to have a sort of the office of the boss kind of thing, so the nerve center and what have you. And the other side, we're going to have a conference cum meeting room, which where the officers would meet and do their planning and such. So that is the plan today. We're going to use very much the same kind of blocks and style that we've used around here already. But the first thing we've got to do is knock out these blocks here to provide us with a doorway. And these blocks have always looked like a slightly different colour of concrete anyway. I'm not sure if they actually are, but this will solve the problem one way or another. And then, of course, what we're going to have to do is mine all this lot out. So we've got, yeah, physically got the space to build here. So that is what I'm going to do now. Oh, for some reason I've got stuck there. I'm not quite sure why. Oh, it's because there's no floor there, of course. So we're going to have to put a floor in there as well. Because I think, actually, yeah, we're going to be able to put in whatever kind of floor we choose here. Because we haven't got anything directly beneath, unlike a lot of the other rooms around here. But we'll probably go with just a concrete floor anyway. Simply because it makes sense in a bunker to have a concrete floor. So I'll rejoin you guys when I have mined all this little lot out, because it might take a little while. Alright, as you can see, we're going to have plenty of space back here. We don't have to worry about there not being sufficient space for us, I don't think. But just to make sure before we finalise our sort of dimensions here, basically what we've got is roughly a 10 by 8 room on both sides. So again, a nice bit of symmetry for us. We want to make a corridor going, you know, kind of down the middle here, so we're going to have corridor access to both of them. You can see this bit here is actually, this is the ceiling of our antechamber below, so that bit we're just going to leave exactly where it is. I took that out by mistake, had to put it right back again. So we're going to have our corridor here on both sides, and again I'm going to use the same blocks as we've used for the rest of, apart from anything else, we've got some left over, so it makes good sense to use them up, doesn't it? We'll have our doorway in the middle there, perhaps, but if we've got, is it 8? I think it's 8. 3, 4, like that. So we may as well put it there, 2 blocks. There we go, kind of like that. And then we've got the same concrete, as we used for our walls elsewhere as well. And again, we've got a few of these left. So we're probably going to want these to go sort of up to there. We're going to have a ceiling on top of that though, so we won't go any further than that. There we go. There we go, there's the end of our corridor. Now, we've run out of blocks, but not to worry, because we're going to get some more, because I want each of these rooms to actually have a window that looks out onto the sort of main trading floor, as it were, below. So, and we want these windows to be quite large, in point of fact. So, I think these rooms, maybe we're going to have them with these walls on the interior. It's either that or double clad them, and I'm not sure that I want to be doing that at this point. So we might just either that. Maybe what we'll do is we'll make them with sort of different. These 2 walls here can be slightly different. But let's just take our windows out first. Whoops, that one's gone a bit wrong, and we want to make sure we want to get the dimensions right, because again, symmetry here is important. We want to get the same size of window on both sides. There we go, that's the basic shape of the place sorted out, with doorways on both sides. There's probably some bits of stone here that we're going to need to take out as well. But before we do that, we need to decide on our walls. Now, what I'm thinking is there a colour that we haven't yet used? We've got blue for our bathrooms, red for our storage area, pink for our dormitories, and I think green in the lounge. Have we used yellow anywhere? We've used yellow here. So let's take a look at that. No, the block bench, to see if there's any colours of plaster that we have not used yet. But the other option is perhaps to use some wood blocks. And I quite like the idea of doing that. Especially this one here. That might look sort of quite nice as wall. Cork, no. A little bit 1970s. We do have some pieces of log. Whether we've got enough, I don't know. But I'll only do that for the bottom half of our wall anyway. So let's see. Let's see how much wood we've got. Actually, I think it's in the storeroom rather than in here at the moment. So we'll have to go get it from there. But in the meantime, what I will also do, plaster. Where's our plaster? We will indulge in some white plaster. Now, obviously, we've got plenty of that stuff, but we've got plenty of stone because I've dug out lots and lots of the stuff while we were mining out our chamber up there. We're going to need a couple of window frames, and of course, we're going to need a door as well. But let's go and get our wood. Oh, look, it's misty inside the bunker. Alright, that gets the ceiling in here sorted out as well. I thought I may as well do that at the same time. And then we'll take our wood blocks and we'll see what this is going to look like. In fact, we'll have a sample with the wood blocks and the... There we go, the wood blocks and the plaster, just to see what they're going to look like. There we've got the wood, and then if we place... That is not where I wanted that to go. Hey ho, I'm not going to worry about a single block. If we place the plaster on top of that... Oh, I should have gone just vertically there. That would have been easier, wouldn't it? There. What does that look like? Let's just get rid of that bit of stone that's clipping through. Yeah, that's pretty nice, actually. I think that's got a nice kind of office boardroom type feel to it. So let's do a bit more of that, and then we're going to find probably that we've got bits of stone which still need mining out, but it's always difficult to judge that till you come to laying your walls. There we are, walls completed. I like that. These aren't very extensive rooms, but they don't need to be. They really don't need to be that long at all. And at the moment, they kind of stick within the general size of the bunker, so we don't have them extending any further than those walls there. So that's cool. So we're going to have one of these as our overseer type office, and the other as a conference room. And I don't suppose it matters too much which is which, but I've sort of, for some reason, got it in my head that this one's the conference room and the other is the office. Yeah, I don't think it really makes too much difference. So what we need now, we need really to get, and I've got a few blocks left here. I always over-egg the pudding and make too many blocks, but that's because previously I've done the exact reverse and not made sufficient. So what we're going to need a couple of window frames here, and we're going to need a couple of glass panes. I do have some glass panes. I don't have any sand here, but I brought glass panes from elsewhere because I knew we were going to need a few, and yeah. Sand can be a bit of a devil to find. So we're going to need... do we have our glass panes in? We have some glass panes in. Actually, I've got loads of them. But I also need some lumber so that I can make myself some window frames. And we're going to go for window frame A, just because it's got the most modern feel, and that's what we've used elsewhere. And of course, we're going to have that in white. And of course, we're going to need doors as well. We're going to need a main door onto... and again, it's kind of a shame we don't have a few more doors at our disposal, really. I don't think a chipboard door is quite appropriate, but this might well be the kind of door that we want for our office and for our boardrooms. So we're going to have two of those, and then, I don't know, maybe we should have one of those leading into it, or maybe we should just have one of these white ones, because that's what we have everywhere else. I'm not sure, actually. I'm not sure what to do for best there. We could have one of these high security metal doors, I suppose, to those. That might not be a bad idea, actually. Just, I don't know. I'm going to leave that for the time being. And we'll take these on up. But I think these wooden doors will go nicely with our sort of more business-like rooms. There we are. That'll do nicely. I'm just going to have something to eat and drink so I don't die. There we go. Actually, that is a perfect match, isn't it, for those wood blocks? It could have been made to go together. That's excellent. And then, of course, we have our windows. And here again, we're going to just size these to be the right size. There we go. And actually, if we make them just a little bit bigger, then we have a narrower frame, which I also prefer. There we go. Fantastic. We have a window to our world. And this hopefully should be exactly the same size. So we can just stick it in place like that. Marvellous. There we go. I've got an office chair spare here. I've got various bits of furniture spare, so that's going to help out for building our rooms up here. So there we go. We have our rooms placed now, and we might have to do a little bit of changing here and there to get those straightened out. And probably, given all the other doors more or less are just white wooden doors like that one, that is what we should have here. Either that or go, you know, sort of a little bit strange and unconventional and not have a door at all. But I think a white door would just tie in with these white wooden window frames. So there we go. And there's a space there which looks like it ought to have something in it. Maybe what we'll have there is some sort of stationary cabinets or something like that. Could be some sundry supply cabinets where we can keep paper. I have no idea. We're getting a bit RP here, but that's all for fun. So we're going to set up our conference room first, shall we? That is going to be the simplest of the two, really, because the only thing we're really going to want in here is a table and some chairs around it. Now, I can't remember at this point how big the tables are that we can actually make in the game. I don't think we've got one that's particularly large. So I'm not sure if we're going to have to make one from scratch, custom. See, that is a table. That's another table, actually. Let's just see. Now, which of these wood grains is going to look like it is the best finish for our boardroom? We could have a white one, of course, but I don't think that's going to be quite ideal. I think that one there, possibly. Let's just see how big that one is. Whatever happens, we're going to need our chairs, aren't we? And it's just going to be these normal chairs here. And we're going to need... Right, let's see. Let's make 6 of them and see how we do with that. And, of course, we're probably going to want some decorative items in here as well. I'm not sure how many decorative items we can contrive, but... Okay, so where's our table? Here. That's fairly large, actually. It's probably going to be big enough for this room because the room is not absolutely huge. And let's just see if we can get it in the middle. So that's in the middle opposite the door. And we perhaps... Yeah, do we want it absolutely in the centre or perhaps slightly this way because of the door? I think there. Okay, and then we'll have G again. Oopsie. And we'll have some... I think I'll put the chairs on the sides of the table for the moment, actually. So we'll place one there. There we are. That's all 6 of our chairs. Now, it looks to me like we probably don't want to put one here just because it'll be in the way of the door. But we need an extra chair for this end here. And that was probably the chair of the meeting. So we're probably going to want one more chair there. I will resist the urge to put a throne there just because that would perhaps look a little bit strange. And then, yeah, I suppose what we really need is sort of filing cabinets, or the nearest thing we can come to filing cabinets, which is going to be the usual thing that we've placed in our bunker before. And perhaps what we need, I don't know, it looks like perhaps we could do with having some sort of smaller table surfaces here to complete this. And perhaps a plant or two wouldn't go amiss, and of course some sort of pictures on the walls or projection charts and that kind of thing. That's what you need in here, isn't it, really? So we'll have a couple of little tables, I think, either side the door, and some plants for decorative purposes. Okay, there's the chair for the chair. Now we've also got some little tables here, and I've just got side tables. Let's turn them in the right way around, but that's going to give us some. That's going to give us a bit of storage capacity as well. There we go, lovely. And then I've got just a couple of plants that we can kind of put on there. Okay, so we probably want to make sure this is absolutely in the middle there, and we want to make this quite large so it more or less fills the wall space like that. And then I think I will turn G off so that we can place it a little bit more centrally like that. There we go. And I will do likewise on this side of the table. There we are, and we'll try and place it at the same height. There we go, some nice non-specific graphs there. And what I would love to do, but honestly I don't think we're going to be able to, I would love to be able to put a poster sort of on the table and just, you know, make it look like a file or something like that. But no, they won't place on the table, unfortunately. They won't place on items at all. So what we'll do, we'll just make this larger and we will turn it into a rug of some sort, because I think our boardroom could perhaps do with one of those. There we go. It's a rug, but it's not too fancy, so I think that probably is fairly fitting in here, and I can change it out quite easily later on anyway, if need be. And then finally we need lighting in here, but I don't think we're going to need that much, so I think probably just one of these strip lights, which we had left over anyway, will suffice. So let's just make sure we get this above our table, and I think that's probably about in the right location there. It's certainly central from this point of view. There we go. Yep, that will do nicely because that is above the table. Fantastic. And then we've got the other one, which we can use in the office next door. Okay, so let's open the door. Now, here, it occurred to me that here is where we should have some sort of filing cabinets or shelves. I do like to place shelves or what have you, but the trouble with those is that you can't actually, if you put the shelves in the objects of the game, as I've said before, you can't actually put anything on them whatsoever. So perhaps what I would prefer to do here is to make my own shelves. So I think maybe what we'll do there is we'll just get some planks and we'll contrive some shelves there so that we can actually put something on them, or make it look like there's something on them in any case. So I think that is what we will try. But before then, we want to sort this office out here. So this is going to be the overseer's office, the office of the big boss. Obviously I'm thinking Fallout 4 when I say or Fallout full stop when I say overseers, but we want a desk here, and what I'm thinking is something a little bit more grandiose than the desks that you get in game, which means trying to construct something, and I would like to use these blocks here. I think these wooden blocks, and it might need a little bit of trial and error, but I would like to create something like outside down there we have some sort of desks which we've created using these metal blocks here. So that is what I'm going to do. I'm going to get some of the wooden blocks that we still have left over from up there, and I'm going to see if I've got some of these metal ones as well. I'm going to see if we can put the two together to make some sort of desk that looks fit for an overseer. Okay, so we want our desk to be facing in this direction, and we're going to have a chair sort of there, an office chair, and maybe I'll use this one here, given that it's spare. Let's do that. So I will use the chair to sort of centralize our desk for a start off, although we can move that if need be, and we can move everything else as well. And then we're going to try just starting off like that, And then I've got these blocks here, which I just want to do that with, because it would be nice if we could have a desk that's sort of curved round like that. Maybe we could even have that. Not sure about that, but it's certainly that kind of shape. There we are. I think that's pretty much what I meant. That's pretty much what I was intending. Sort of a fairly large, imposing looking structure. Let's just see. There we go. We can see over it nicely because we're standing on the chair rather than sitting on it. Perhaps with our new player models, we'll actually be able to sit on chairs rather than stand on top of them. But yeah, so that is kind of what I intended there, which is great. So now what we need to do probably is get a couple of posters and do more or less what we did. That's way too big. What we did downstairs to make a lot of our consoles and what have you, to make this look like it's, yeah, more like a computer screen. So we want this poster to sort of mostly fill up the area in front of us. There we go. And we want perhaps some more posters if we could contrive it sort of on either side. I'd love to put posters all the way around there, but we have got a bit of an awkward shape going on there, so maybe we'll just have to put them on the ends. That's the one thing I would tweak if I could, I think, with this, is to give us the ability to have sort of three in a row there. I wonder if we take this out. I wonder if we can do that. I'm not sure. I'm not really sure how to achieve that. I might just have to make the desk somewhat larger in both directions, but I'm not sure I really want to make it that much bigger, really. It might be a little bit too imposing. So for the moment, what I'm going to do, there we go. What I'm going to do for the moment, I'm just going to put some on either end like this. And we'll call that good for the time being. Now, likewise in here, I want to have some sort of large things on the wall, but probably these will take the form of screens rather than sort of pictures. Let's just place this, as we did before, I think more or less in the center, unless we're planning on having some more localized lighting, but I don't think so. I think probably the best thing to do here is, as we did next door, we'll have this pretty much in the center, and I think that's pretty much in the center. Let's just see. We want it directly over the desk, and I reckon that's about there. There we go. Okay, so that's plenty light enough in here. And then I probably want some seats in here or something. Okay, so we want to have some sort of seating in here, and we've also got some tables here. So the question is, do we have the tables? I think we have the tables next to the chairs, so I think maybe we have the tables kind of in the corners here, but I'm going to take G off because it tends to put the tables a little bit too tight into the corner for my liking. There we go, and we'll do the same over here. And then we could place a chair next to either of those, preferably facing in the correct direction. There we go, and they should either face out from the wall or they should face out from this wall facing the desk. Maybe that's the best thing for them to do. There we are. Again, I can always change this out at some point if I feel like it. There we are. Now I have got some sundry items to go in here as well. A plant, of course, the ubiquitous plants. We've got a bin as well, because I feel like no office is really going to be complete without one. Although I might have to move that, in point of fact, because I want to place at least one filing cabinet in here. And for this, I've got one of these chests. Well, I've got two actually, but we'll have one for the moment. And then a poster. So we're going to do our usual thing here. There we go. Okay, I decided to change it slightly, and we just got one of the small chests in there because we're not going to have to stash loads and loads of items in here. So that's fine. And besides which, we don't want an enormous filing cabinet there because we do want to put some large screens on our walls here, of which there will be 2. We'll have one there and one on this wall. Likewise, about as central as we can make it. Something like that. There we go. And we've a couple of posters. There we are. I think we want some sort of security screen kind of looking thing here. And then we probably need one that looks a little bit more like it's at home in the office of an Uber Lord. Like that one there. There we go. Okay, I think this place is pretty much finished now. There might, as ever with these things, be a few more things that I add here and there, but that is pretty much our office there. And then the only thing that I wanted to do here, and I'm not sure if I have enough planks for the purpose, I want to be able to place, this is annoying when you're trying to do this. I want to be able to place some shelves in here, and probably the best thing to do, is to make them for ourselves. So that is what I'm going to try and do here. If I can get this plank the right way round. There, that is more or less what I meant there. And then if we were super cunning, we could probably turn that bottom part there into sort of some cupboards by putting planks over the front, a couple of chests in there maybe. Let's just see. Or maybe just one chest there. Let's just place that there. Actually, I might have to sort of inset it into the wall a little bit because it's not quite, it's a little bit bigger than the planks, the shelves that I've put in place for the moment. So we'll leave that for the second, but that is a possible plan of action. And we will get these planks that remain, and they need to go the other way up. Let's just turn that around, and they need to be shrunk very much down. That's it. Oops. And then spread out widthwise as well. Now, anybody who has seen me populating shelves before, we did a little bit of it in the officers' quarters, and we've certainly done this in some of our house builds previously, will know what I'm doing here. There we go. Some files there. And I think we've got a couple more posters, so we can hopefully finish these shelves off in style. And there we go, that is starting to take shape now, so you can see what we've got there. And it may even be possible, now we've placed those, to take out the plank. There we go. Without the images disappearing as well, so we get more of a sense of perspective. Those file boxes are a little bit wonky looking, and I think I would still like to sort of make this into some sort of cupboard, which I might well try and do, because I think just for the look of the thing, it's going to look pretty good. But there we go, guys. So for now, we are pretty much done here, so I hope you like the look of the place. We haven't got any lighting in here, but you know what? It's light enough. We actually have quite sufficient lighting. Now, the only thing I've got, just to sort of finish the place off properly, we've got signs everywhere else telling us where things are. So we're going to place another sign here, and then we're going to place another sign here, and I'll probably have one opposite as well, but for the moment these are the ones I've got spare. So we're going to have this sign saying conference room, and we're going to have this sign here saying overseer's office. Just because I can't think of a better word really for someone who is quite literally overseeing the comings and goings and the goings on within this bunker of ours. So as I say, folks, this may or may not be a completed bunker now. We may well want to keep tweaking it a little bit. I can certainly think of a couple of things that we could usefully add to the place to make it really feel complete. But in the next episode, nonetheless, in preparation for Rising World's biggest update for quite some time, I think, with the player models and clothing, which I'm very much looking forward to. We are going to spend the next episode taking blueprints, so that I hope you guys will join me for that one. We're going to take blueprints of pretty much all the builds we've got in this world. So we've got the farmhouse here. We've got a farmhouse in our blueprints menu already, but we're going to take a blueprint of this one plus fields. We're going to take a farm. We're going to take a blueprint of our A-frame house. There is another of our favourites, my favourites, so I will probably take a blueprint of that. We're definitely going to blueprint the castle and also our lighthouse, because I'm very fond of both of those as well. And probably the lighthouse, probably the castle garden there as well, because I like that one too. So we're basically going to record all of those in our journal so that we can, if we want to, place them easily and recreate them in any new saves that we make, because I think we're probably going to get to the stage with the game at some point where we are forced to start a new game, a new save to avoid bugs. But as I say, I've decided when the player model update comes out, we are going to start all over again. But until then, we're going to carry on with this build. I think hopefully it won't be, it's not too far away now. I will take a blueprint of this place if I can, but it being underground, it might be a little bit awkward, but I'm going to give it a go, certainly, because we've put quite a lot of work into the joint, and quite a lot of episodes have got into it as well. So, I hope as ever you guys have enjoyed this episode. If you have, you know what to do. Hit that like button and let me know. And I hope you'll join me for the next episode, taking blueprints of all of our builds to date. So it'll be a bit of a trip down memory lane to have a look at all of our builds to this point. Yeah, after that, as I say, if we've got time, may well be adding some extra areas to the bunker, because I feel like there are some other bits that it could really use at this point. So I hope you'll join me for all of that, but until then, keep gaming, keep surviving, and stay happy. Bye bye for now.